Where have you been? Are you still investing? How's your property investment journey going? And how's your last deal? How did that go? And did you make any money from your last deal? Grab yourself a coffee as well, guys. Let's get into the Q&A. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, hi, welcome. I'm Sabrina and I am a property investor here in the UK, and I'm documenting my journey here on YouTube. So guys, where have I been and what have I been up to? And first of all, I just want to say a massive thank you, because this video is kind of coming because I've had a lot of people messaging me, lovely messages of support and just saying, where are you? What's happening? What's going off with the upload? First and foremost, before we get into anything, Richard, you know who you are. Thank you so much for getting in touch with me, because it's really spurred me on to keep going. Right, so where have I been and what's been happening? Basically, guys, I've just needed time to recharge after a massive burnout, and my last deal has been a struggle to say the least, and this is why I'm here on YouTube documenting this, so you see the ups and the downs of everything. You kind of see people going, yes, I've done this deal and I've done that deal and I've pulled out X amount of money, I've pulled this out, I've pulled that out, and you think, wow, and it looks all too easy, but it's stressful. It's like anything else. If that was the case, everyone would be doing this. It's not. It is really hard, and it does take a toll on you, and 2022 and 2023 did take a toll on me. I worked so hard. Go back and watch the playlist as well. There's playlists of some of the properties that I've invested in, and you can see the ups and the downs from that. But so much has happened, and then this last deal that I've done that is still going through till this day has really took its toll on me, and I've also had some other things happen in my personal life. So I did want to take a small break, which has grown into a much larger break than anticipated, but I definitely needed the time off to recharge and re-go at this again. And I will go more into detail within this video and videos to come as to what's happening with this current deal. So as I said, I've had a few sort of family issues and things that I've needed to take care of outside of work and YouTube, and also I've had a couple of business ventures as well. I'll pop the link in the description box below so you can check that out and see what I'm talking about. But that, combined with some of the things that have happened on the last property deal, it's just really took its toll. So as I said, I needed what was going to be like a short little break, but it turned into a longer one, and I just needed time to recharge my batteries, because this really does take its toll on you. And also all the things that have happened with obviously Labour coming into play, budget announcements, things like that, have all had a knock-on effect on this last bit of this deal that I'm pushing through as well. So I think the market in that is, personally, coming from the point of view of an investor, it's still a little bit volatile. So I think that lenders, from my experience and what I've been talking to with my mortgage broker, I think that lenders are still doing their due diligence and really scrutinising every last little bit of information to make sure that everything lines up, because they just want to cover themselves as a result of different people coming into power, different things happening within that, and also that's come from the budget announcements as well. So in that respect, it's kind of reflected through. And even if you don't think the market is a bit uncertain, I think that some of the lenders and the valuers, from that kind of perspective, they're all being very cautious, and which equals everything's taking a lot of time to go through and communicate, and you send one piece of information in and then they request another as a result, or this has a knock-on effect, and it just, to me, it is really slowing down. Now this latest deal that I've done, we started it off again in the back end of July, and it is still going through till this day. But as I said, I will go into more detail on that, because that's some of the questions that have been asked by you guys, so I'll go on to that later on in the video. So another question is, what have you been doing in the property world? The main thing has been trying to get this last part or last section of this deal over the line, and that's involved me really looking into market trends and researching and stuff like that. So I've literally been invested in my strategy and sort of are now kind of going back, reworking through my property strategy and revisiting my actual property plan and my property portfolio, which I discussed that in other previous videos, so please go back and have a look on the project. I'm actually reviewing my actual overview of my property investment plan and what I actually want to do, where I'm going, my goals, my SMART goals and things like that. In particular, a key part of my strategy, I was looking at sort of mixed use properties or commercial properties properties and trying to turn those and convert and renovate those into residential properties, or converting them into flats. For example, the one that we did not so long ago where the ground floor was an old hairdresser's, converted that into a 1-bed flat. So I'm really happy that I kind of looked and took this approach to what I was going to be doing with my property plan in general, because now that all these announcements have come out, especially with the extra surcharge and stuff like that on second properties and things like that from the government budget announcements, that, spoiler alert, I'll be doing more videos on this as well, that might be a way to kind of reduce and mitigate costs that I'll be spending on the extra stamp duty hikes, for example. So I'm really focusing on that. So I've been looking at doing viewings and trying to kickstart my journey to getting into developments, which I know that is a wild goal of mine, is that I've always wanted to get, this has always been a route into getting into developments for myself. So I'm looking at that, exploring development avenues, and also sort of exploring and doing viewings on mixed use properties, which again, they're going to be coming in future videos, where I can convert them into residential, because I think that plan, as I've said in other videos, is kind of almost like delving into the premise of having a HMO, because obviously a HMO would give you multiple rents from one property. So it's taking that premise and sort of maybe having the best of both worlds. So I'm converting ground and a first floor, for example, and then converting those into 2 flats, so then I've got multiple income from one property. Those are the kind of things that I've been doing. I've really been honing in on my goals that are going to focus me and funnel me into that kind of route. So I've been looking at viewings that match that kind of property profile that I want, that's going to kickstart me to keep me going on that plan to getting into developments. So that is really what I've been focusing on and looking at. So I'm really excited to sort of continue my plans to convert commercial properties into residential via obviously the permitted development rights that are there, just going through, really focusing on that. So I've also had some architectural commissions, and then from the back of those, they have turned into site and project management commissions as well. So I will be taking you along on those as well. We'll be doing vlogs on those every day-to-day sort of site visits, weekend visits, things like that. So that's going to be coming up pretty soon on the channel. So be sure to subscribe if you want to see more of that. And I'm hoping this will lead into employing part-time sort of architectural assistants and having that mentorship. If you've got any queries or anything architecturally wise, if you've got an architectural commission and you do employ us, then that is going to help to support a young person and put them through. And I'm hoping to sort of help employing an assistant architectural designer at some stage. So that's going to feed back through into the business. So yeah, I've just been doing that and sort of keeping an eye on the business finances. And speaking of finances, by the way, if you are wanting to get into property investing and you're not quite sure how your finances come into play, you can always speak to Unbiased. The link is in the description box below. You'll get your first consultation for free, and basically Unbiased is almost like a matchmaking scheme for your finances. So if you need to speak to a financial advisor or a mortgage broker, Unbiased will kind of put you in touch with the right person for your needs. And everyone that signs up, obviously I'll make a small commission, so thank you so much for that. So what have I been learning and what have I learned during my time away? I have literally learned that I need to really get back into networking again. I was really, as I said, 2021 and 2022, I really was out there networking, meeting new people, keeping up with those contacts that I had made. And I've got so focused and so drawn into all of the actual day-to-day running of the property investing and the actual business side of that of things, is I've lost touch with sort of going to all of these networking events and speaking to people and making new connections and meeting people and stuff like that. So I'm really keen to get out there again and go to some more of these networking events in property. So I'll be looking and making plans to do that for 2025. Yeah, hopefully starting in the new year, I will be looking and researching to go to more of these property events up and down the country. So hopefully I will be out there sort of networking and getting to meet people again. And speaking of that, I'm actually doing a whole entire property reset on my reviewing my property plan and everything like that moving forward for 2025, and I'll be showing that in a future video, so be sure to subscribe so you can see that. But yeah, I'm really looking and reviewing my successes in the past, my failures in the past, and everything like that, just so that I can make tweaks to my property plan, as I said before, so that I can actually stay on track with my goals to get back into actual developments. And kind of a random one as well, but trying to get back into my fitness, because I feel like I've lost that this year, or I did lose that before. And again, that's part of the reason why I've been away for so long as well, is that I was getting back into my fitness, getting back into going to the gym, because I feel like that's when I'm at my most creative. That's when I come up with new ideas for business reasons, personal life, anything. I just come up with great ideas when I'm out and about, and I've got a clear head after a workout as well. So I'm currently doing the 75 hard. I'm in the middle of that, and I'm up and about every single day on my feet, walking around. So I'm not sort of fixed, not fixed in, sat behind a desk all day, which is quite freeing and really nice to have that. Then, as I said, that's where I get most of my creative ideas, and that's when I can think for YouTube, providing content and stuff like that, what people want to see. My ideas are free flowing, and everything's always sort of great and clear, and I can think during a workout. It's great being in the gym. So yeah, getting my fitness back, that's another key thing of part of my whole reset plan for 2025. So what can we expect from the future, or what can we expect from the channel moving forward? As I've said before, I'm going to have a lot more videos on property resets, how goals for 2025, with that aim of getting into developments. I know it's a big goal, but it's something that I'm aiming towards. I'll also be taking you through these new projects that are starting on site, taking you out and about with that. Any new architectural stuff, I'll be showing you that. I'll be showing you viewings, things like that, all to do with the business. So I'll be getting back stuck into what I love doing, and you guys will have seen as well from the insights on the videos, bringing more of those hands-on videos to you. But if you've got any other suggestions, if you want to see anything else, just pop a comment in down below, and I'll be more than happy to get stuck into whatever you want me to, sort of where you want the channel to go. Right, so it's going to be a hard one, this question. How did your last property deal go? And the answer is, it's still going. It is still ongoing. This last one, literally coming up against a few obstacles with this. It's been 4 different deals to get my money out of this one deal that I'm doing at the minute. And I'll probably go into more detail on a separate video, just to go into that into more detail, because so much has gone off with this. So the initial way I funded the last deal that I did was via a bridge loan. That first deal went through fine. So we went through the processes of getting that bridge out, told them what I wanted to do with my scope of works, the drawings, etc., program, everything like that. And whilst it was painful, that all still went through when I purchased the property. It was old hairdressers down below, so it was mixed use development. Downstairs was an old hairdressers, it'd been abandoned for a while, and upstairs was just a first floor flat. So my plans were to renovate the property and basically provide 2 flats in this property. So downstairs was going to mirror the same layout as upstairs, so it's going to be another 1-bedroom flat, which the renovation, again, you can watch the playlist on that had its ups and downs, but that went through. So then it came to the second deal on this particular project, and this was to get the property off the bridge loan and then onto a buy-to-let. So went through the process of that, and then the value the last minute recommended not to lend, and we were all confused as to why it wasn't to lend. I think it was a younger valuer, so I think they were a bit unsure, and therefore went for the safe option of recommending not to lend. The reasons they said was because of the proximity to all the businesses. Now, it's a semi-detached property. On the other side, you've got 2 flats as well. Someone had already brought that semi-detached part of the property and converted those into 2 flats. And next door, that was residential, that whole entire pocket. So we were a bit confused as to why. The nearest business was up and around the corner, and it was quite a far way away from the property. But as I said, I think it was just they were nervous. I think it was one of their first couple of projects by themselves, so I think they literally recommended that. So that went through. Because of that, and obviously the delays we had during the renovation, it was getting close to where the original bridge loan was going to run out, and therefore I was going to have to pay a hefty amount of fees, and if I'd have gone over the date to pay this bridge loan back. What we then had to do was to get it onto another bridge loan just to buy us a bit more time so that we could then get a buy-to-let portion in place. So that's what we did. So then I had to go through the process again, almost of refunding, not remortgaging, but just refunding, but onto another bridge. And they did that, and that was fine. Value came out. They downvalued it slightly, but they still recommended that we could go on to this other bridge loan. So we did that to buy us a bit more time. This is why I always say in my other videos, make sure that you put in even more time than you think, because of unforeseen circumstances, for you to complete your bridge part. If you're going to do like a bridge to let or something, make sure you've got enough time for that and the valuation and everything to go through. Otherwise, will cause you issues. And I'm literally just being brief here. I'm just sort of saying it freely. What I'll do is in the other video dedicated to this, I'll go into a bit more detail. Then I had to go for funding for the third time, but this was to get from the second bridge loan onto a buy to let. So this would be the second time that I was going for a buy-to-let funding on this property. So we go through everything, it's going through the processes, and it gets to a point again where the valuer goes onto site and does their valuation. They came back massively, and when I say massively, they massively downvalued the property. And again, in that dedicated video, I'll do that and I'll go through the figures with you. So then I had to go again for the fourth time for funding to get off this bridge loan onto another buy-to-let, and that is where we're at the minute. It's gone through to the valuers. They've given the valuation that I originally thought that I was going to get, so they gave us pretty much in that ballpark. So they didn't undervalue, they valued it pretty much to how much I estimated at the beginning to pull out the money, and that's where we're at the minute. So now we're just finalising that deal, and hopefully, touch wood, that's going through at the minute. And as I said, I will do a separate video just going through that, because it was literally like a roller coaster of emotions, up and down. And as you can imagine, I'm just starting out. Most of my money is tied up into this deal, and this was the deal where I was meant to get the money out and then I could start splitting it, and that's when the real momentum would have picked up. And that's why I say, from the point of view of the valuers and the lenders, they're still viewing the market as quite volatile. So it was crazy to get this mass array of valuations, and all the while I was trying to sort of speak to people, and even the first person that valued it originally, that said once the renovation's done it's going to be valued at this much, they were confused as to why some valuations came out the way that they did. But touch wood, it's going through as we speak. And as I said again, that was kind of a quick run through of it, but I will go over it in more detail in a dedicated video for you. So again, subscribe for that. But that really took it out of me, and I was trying to still do videos for you guys. I was still trying to, obviously I had a lot of stuff happen with my family in the meantime, so I had all of this going on, and it just all came to a head, and I just needed that time out because of literal burnout because of this. So it is not easy. This property investing, it is not easy, and hats off to people that are really, really going for it. And I see them all the time on Instagram. I don't know how they do it because it is so stressful. And again, this is the reason why I've got this YouTube channel, just to show you this is what actually happens when you're first starting out. Even with my background in construction, you can never plan too much. You plan to a T. Even with that, you can never mitigate against all of the risks, because there'll be unforeseen circumstances which has hit me, and I'll keep you updated on the progress of this one. And to answer everyone else, yes, I am literally back full time, posting to a regular schedule. I've got a lot of content coming up that I want to show you. Yeah, full force, we're going into 2025. Literally, what's my plan for the future? It is literally sticking to or making slight tweaks to my property plan, which is to go for mixed use, commercial use buildings and convert them. That's it in a nutshell. Obviously, there's more to it, but that is what I'm going to be aiming at. I think, judging by what's happened with the budget announcements and things like that, I think that might be the safer bet, because I love doing this. Even though it's been really, really stressful at times, I've really, really loved doing this property investing. It is something that I'm really, really passionate about. So I still want to keep going. So in my head, I personally feel that that's a way to mitigate against all of this extra costs or the extra charges or this extra burden that's been put on businesses through these budget announcements. So yeah, that's what I'll be sticking to. Thank you for sticking with me through this downtime, this down period. And this is literally, it's taught me this is not a sprint, it is a literal marathon, and it is not easy, and it's not for the faint-hearted, but it is really rewarding. It's as equally hard, it's that equal positive and good things that happen, and that good, great, lovely feeling that you get from when things go right. But yeah, if you've got any other questions, any queries, pop them in the comment section below. If you want to inquire about any architectural plans or anything like that moving forward, my business email is in the description box below. Thanks guys, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.